Hello there, my name's Jimmy Stewart and this is my poster for individual customer psychology talking about how brands effectively target me. As can be seen from the poster, I've split it up into 4 key sections to document the various different stages of my life. These are my early life, primary education, secondary education and further education. In early life, I was too young to directly respond to any form of direct brand messages or forms of persuasion. Therefore, the brands that interested me early were largely due to my parents and the culture of the society where I grew up. The only brand that I remember feeling connected to as a child was Sheffield Wednesday Football Club, with my subculture and social class being the main influence. Coming from a broken family and Sheffield Wednesday's Football Club main values being a family club, it made me feel part of an extended family, which created an emotional response to the club. The next stage of my life was the years going through primary education. Children represent a major market and perhaps the most significant one, that is the future market. Advertisers recognise that brand loyalties and consumer habits formed when children are young and vulnerable will be carried out through childhood. Although no specific loyalties can be made, it's the symbolic recognition of firm desire. I unconsciously connected with various brands as a child, simply because I recognised the logo. Although I was too young to physically purchase products from the brand at the time, I recognised the symbols, which in turn led me to purchasing the products when I was older. The theory behind semiotics is that it's the social process involved that generates pleasure as well as cognitive and rational outcomes. I would agree with this statement, as using McDonald's and Coca-Cola as a prime example, when I see the brand signs, it pleasures me due to my positive connection with the brand. The next stage of my life is arguably the most significant, which is secondary education. The reason for this is where I began to understand myself. It is stated that the self is the psychological tool that allows us to consider who we are. Social demands, as well as the subculture in secondary school, meant that I had to wear certain brands such as Nike to fit in and acquire my ideal social self-image. Primary reference groups had a major influence on me, which led to a public luxury nature of influence. The Many Selves framework, adapted by Barrett 2016, demonstrates all the different selves an individual can have. Adidas in particular are great at targeting people through self-esteem. Self-esteem is a feeling about yourself such as you're a skilled athlete. Adidas have recognised this, which is illustrated by their brand slogans such as "Impossible is nothing", which is used to give high levels of self-esteem to an individual and make them feel empowered. Secondary education is also where I had my first experience of fear appeal. Fear appeal is a persuasive communication that tries to scare people into changing their attitudes by conjuring up negative consequences that will occur if they don't comply with the message recommendations. Companies such as Lynx and Clearasil, through their advertisements, clearly demonstrated what effects it would have on an individual such as myself if we didn't get those products. The last section is the further education. Further education, my attitudes changed further, which was largely due to the new subcultures I found myself in and the peer pressure that they brought with them. Further education is also where I became first aware of cognitive dissonance. The theory developed by Leon Festinger in 1957 refers to the situation regarding conflicting attitudes. According to the theory, when there's an inconsistency between attitudes or behaviours, something must change to eliminate such dissonance. The most common way to do this is to reduce the importance of cognitions. For example, at university, I tend to drink a lot of alcohol. Now, the health implications of consuming vast amounts of alcohol are well documented. However, I have the attitude that it's better to live for the moment rather than worrying about tomorrow. I'd rather have a shorter life filled with the joys of consuming alcohol rather than having a longer lifespan without such pleasure. By doing this, I'm decreasing the importance of the dissonant cognition. That concludes my poster. Please refer to my supporting document where I've illustrated a variety of examples and frameworks in relation to individual customer psychology.